wanted to talk about leftism. What is leftism? Well, I have this clear image in my mind. I can see it. And it's almost like an artist putting his paint on a brush and painting a masterpiece without knowing what his next stroke will be. He just has a gut feeling and he paints it. And that feeling, that painting, reflects something that is very hard to explain sometimes or to express. So they put it on paper, they use all the different colors, the palette, and that's what I would like to do with leftism. It's something I've talked about, written about since late 2015. Really started writing heavily about leftism to myself. I don't have like an audience or a Substack or anything. But in 2017 is really whenever I started to study this phenomenon that is ripping the world to shreds. So back to the image, it's clear to me what it is and what it's not. And each of us feels it. You know, that quiet inner discernment. It's like a sense of morality that filters thoughts into simple categories of right and wrong. That feeling used to be called common sense. A shared spiritual understanding that united us. So I wanted to talk about this. This video is about motive, really. It's about identifying the ideology that exploits moral decline. It's about an ideology that's been deliberately divided, rebranded, and embedded into our culture, yet always remains in our plain sight. Leftism is that ideology, and it spreads like cancer. So there are a lot of things you could point fingers at as to what enables this, but I think fundamentally you can really root it back to two different things. You have your household and you have your education, and those two things combined, those two inputs into the character of the individual, allows them to produce a third, an attributional effect on society. So if they're beat to shit every day of their life, it's likely that may reflect in who they become, right? And the same thing with education. If you go to school every day and you're taught to love America, you'll likely at least parrot it. Whether you believe it or not is a different story, but you'll at least parrot it. If you go to school being taught the opposite, you'll say the opposite. And you combine that with your home, and generally speaking, you can predict the outcome of that individual, or get very close. So, you know, I know people know this, and I've said this since I was like in 6th grade, but our education system doesn't teach us how to think. It tells us what to think, or teaches us what to think, what to say, how to say it. And leftism, in my opinion, is the direct output of this mindlessness. It's why you can have a good home and go to Ivy League schools, and you're the individual setting the Palisades on fire and starting, you know, and every couple of years some leftist nut job, eco freak, is burning down their own communities in the name of what? Something, whatever it is, it's irrelevant. Or killing CEOs, or shooting Charlie Kirk in the neck. So leftism is that direct output of the inputs given, which you can blame largely on our academic structure. So leftism is a net negative to society, politically, spiritually, educationally, metaphysically, and I've kind of broken it down into laws. They're not, refined laws per se, but they're if I tried to encapsulate all of these laws, if I tried to define leftism just using, definitions, there is no one definition per se, unless you just say the embodiment of evil. But it's not political. Leftism is not political whatsoever. It's a destructive mindset. It unifies, at least it promises to unify everyone and everything by force, by eliminating anyone who disagrees. It only destroys with or without intent. It has no goal, and if it has no goal, it has no end. It spreads like a virus, one mind at a time. It's parasitic, invisible, and extremely contagious. Again, this is not politics. This is an infection. Leftism is obsessed with tangible things like money, status, power, visible results. To contrast it, although not opposite, conservatism focuses on intangible things like character, principles, truth. And this is why leftism spreads so easily. It offers things that people can see and touch right now. This is also why faith is dying among the left. Leftist circles have pretty much abandoned faith in God entirely. Their words still say they may, but in their heart they don't. They would sacrifice someone and justify it in the name of God, even though that's obvious evil. Faith is intangible. It's more like a mindset of your heart. And leftism cannot offer that. It doesn't practice virtue. It virtue signals. Real virtue helps quietly, whereas like leftism will film itself for likes. So you'll walk down the street, you'll give a bum $100 and some food, some Nikes, whatever, and at the same time you're like, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. If you like this, I'll give more bums money. Just give me money tenfold and I'll give them a little smidge, okay? Whereas conservatism would walk down that same alley or sidewalk, give that bum money, charity in this case, and not ask for anything in return. That's what conservatism teaches. That's what it embodies. One of the main differences between the left and the right is that the right owns what they own and will kick out all those who don't align. It's like if a black person identifies as white or vice versa, that doesn't exist. It's not real. So that identifying marker, that characteristic of yourself, is not interchangeable. It either is or isn't. Something's either on fire or it's not on fire. It's either a rock or it's not a rock. It's either a boy or it's not a boy, in which case it would be a girl. So the point being, if you're conservative, you're a conservative. If you don't practice it, if you don't spread, or at least try your hardest to spread that influence on an individual to individual basis, then you're not a conservative. However, conservatism teaches us to forgive and to essentially accept shortcomings, accept that we're not perfect. So, whereas the left will do something evil and justify it, the right could do that same evil and in their heart know it's wrong. They know it's wrong, and they'll just say they're wrong, and they'll take the consequence, they'll take the lick, so to speak. Leftism is the embodiment of evil. It is the embodiment of division. If Jesus is one, and he exemplifies good, then anything exterior or posterior to that one, i.e. division or multiplicity, is evil. So there's a lot I could say about this, but out in there.